You should do the In the Heights rap.
I only know like 2 lines from it.
So look it up.
I only know like the line that's like, to 42nd Street.
Well, it's 96th Street, so... Dear listener, today's going to be a good day, and here's why.
Because today we're celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month. I'm Becca.
And I'm Eni, and this is Sincerely Us, a podcast for the casual musical theater fan. Hi, Becca.
Hi, Eni. Oh, we said that at the same time.
That's fine.
It's because we're not in the same room anymore.
I know. It's so sad.
I know. It's kind of ridiculous that I'm all the way up here now.
I don't like it.
It is pouring here, and it is pouring there. So, like, It's kind of the same place.
Okay, but, like, what's the temperature up there?
Oh, I don't know. Let's look.
Because it's mighty hot down here.
It's 57.
Even though it's raining. Let's see. It is 86 degrees.
It's 57.
With no sun, and it's been pouring rain all day.
It's 57. I'm in a hoodie and freezing.
So yeah, we're totally in the same place.
We are.
What
are your potatoes?
Oh, my potatoes. Okay, so my potatoes this week are that on Thursday I am leaving for Chicago. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be in Chicago for 5 days. 5 days. To celebrate my great-grandmother's 100th birthday.
That is so amazing.
Right? I'm super excited because I love Chicago and I love my great-grandmother, and it is not hot up there.
Yeah.
My second potato, I have no idea. I have not prepared for this.
I mean, we remember everything we need to talk about. I sometimes remember the quote I'm supposed to say at the end. Like, we remember everything. We never plan for the one place where we talk about ourselves.
Yeah, no, ever.
Well, one of my potatoes is that this kind of ties into what we're going to talk about later, and I'm sure you bring it up later, but I recently started watching the sitcom One Day at a Time, which I'm obsessed with. Oh my God,
I love it so much. I'm so happy that you just, like, found that. I was like, hey, I'm watching this thing. Have you ever seen it? I'm like, yeah, I've seen all 3 seasons, and, like, had an emotional breakdown when they canceled it, and then got really excited when Lin-Manuel Miranda saved it.
Yeah. But it was even more funny when I was watching it. I was like, oh my God, this is Eni's mom.
Seriously, though. Yeah, but I would, like, die if Rita Moreno was my grandmother. Okay, so awesome. I remembered my second potato was that last Thursday I saw Little Shop live. The University of Miami, their drama department or their whatever theater program, they did Little Shop, and it's funny that we're doing Hispanic Heritage Month because they put a Hispanic, like, Miami spin to it. Mm-hmm. So, like, Mushnik is, like, Cuban and has, awesome. Like, a Hispanic accent and is
I was going to say, his name's Mushnik, though. How'd they deal with that?
I was having this discussion with my mom afterwards. I'm like, I feel like they tried to change it, but didn't do enough to change it. Like, they should have changed Mushnik's name.
I don't think they could have, though, because of the rights, probably.
Probably. But yeah, so his name's still Mushnik, but he was Hispanic and, like, smoked cigars and was, like, super Cuban. And, like everything, like, the entire set was, like, super, like, Miami Vice-esque.
Yeah, I saw the pictures you sent me. That was awesome.
So, like, it was, the director came out because the night that we saw it, it ended up being, like, one of the middle schools out here, like, they went to go see the show.
It's awesome.
And so the director came out before and was, like, talking to them and explaining to them, like, everything. Mm-hmm. And so their version, like, took place in Miami in the 90s.
That's so awesome.
It was super cool. Like, everybody had, like, their fanny packs and, like, their, like, super neon. Like, it was really funny.
That's so awesome.
It was really, really funny. That's my second potato.
Okay. My second potato, we mentioned earlier, is that it's raining today. And I love the rain. And it was I say it's my day off. I teach at the studio, but it's my day off from, like, my day job. And so I've just been, like, loving life all day today. Now, if you know anything about me, I love the rain. I like being in the rain. I don't mind being wet. Like, I love puddles and all of the, like, clothing you wear when it's raining. Like, I like raincoats and rain boots, and I just love the rain. So I love October because in Maine it's very rainy. October and April are the best months. Well, April because it's my birthday, but also because it rains a lot.
That's funny because they're exactly 6 months apart.
Crazy. It's almost like that's how weather works.
Almost. Okay, so for my third potato, I'm going to go a little mushy.
Oh, God.
Don't worry, it's not about you.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, so my last potato is that this past Saturday, Bacon and Eggs celebrated their 2-year anniversary.
Okay, that's my third one, too. I'm stealing it.
Okay, that's fine. We can be both of our third potatoes. And for those who somehow are listening to us and not listening to Bacon and Eggs, like, I don't think there's a single listener out there that
if there is, please DM us. Because that'd be really interesting.
Bacon and Eggs is a movie lovers podcast.
Yeah.
So they talk about a different movie each week, and it's hosted by two of our really good friends, Tyler and Ethan. Mm-hmm. And they're amazing, and they have, like, if it wasn't for their podcast and their community, Becca and I wouldn't know each other. No. So we legitimately owe all of this, all of what we're doing to them.
And not only that, but, like, a lot of our online friends came out of that community. Like, we're really involved in their Discord community and stuff. I mean, you're literally a moderator of their Discord.
I am.
We're, like, really involved in their community. So a lot of all of my online friends come from their community in their Discord. So I definitely cried on their 2-year anniversary because while I haven't been a part of the Discord all 2 years, I've literally been listening since day one. And so it, like, is bonkers to me that it's been 2 years.
I know, it's crazy. Like, to watch them for the past 2 years, like, it's been amazing. And to be able to call them friends is just an entire other thing all in and of itself.
But they're also, like, huge inspirations to us.
Oh,
like,
for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, we tell them this to their face, so I don't feel bad saying it.
And by to their face, you mean through an online medium?
Listen, I don't want to talk about it. It's to their face.
Okay, sure.
Their phone is in their face.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah. But it's gotten to the point where I talk about my online friends so much now that I don't have to explain to, like, my friends and family where I know these people from.
Oh, yeah, me neither. Like, my friends and my, like, Linton and my parents and everybody, like, if I just say, like, Tyler or Ethan or, like, Josh or Katie or Rachel or Pix, like, they know who those people are, not like, oh, yeah, my friend from XYZ, you know?
How do you... Well, I mean, okay, so you're in a really unique position because your family actually knows what Discord is. I struggled really hard trying to explain what Discord is. And so I've kind of just said that, like, I'm in a big, huge group chat with people who like Bacon and Eggs, the podcast, also the food, but the podcast. Because I literally, like, how else would you explain that?
So I think that's honestly the best way of explaining it, because that's what it is. It's just a very organized group chat.
Yeah. So
anyway,
you guys should join their Discord. It's great.
It really is amazing.
Yeah. We're fun.
Huh?
We're fun over there. Sometimes. Also, that's where potatoes got birthed. So
got birthed.
Yep. I birthed it. It is my child. I'm not going to have children. You know what's really funny is if I end up actually having children, which I don't think I will, it'll be really funny to listen back to this podcast where I was like, I'm not going to have children.
Anyway, for the billionth time in the last, like, couple days, happy 2-year anniversary, Tyler, Ethan, Bacon and Eggs. We love you guys a lot. Okay, so potatoes are done. What are we talking about? All right, so we... I kind of messaged Becca and I was like, hey, I really want to do some sort of Hispanic Heritage something this month. Hispanic Heritage Month in Miami is huge, but that's because the Hispanic presence in Miami is huge. So October is, October's a lot of things. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I know there's, like, it's Halloween month, so everybody, Halloween.
It's domestic violence awareness, too.
I know, there's a bunch of things this month. But one of the things is Hispanic Heritage Month. And, like, every year at school, basically all of your classes, except for, like, math, would focus the lesson plan on, you know, Hispanic heritage. So I kind of wanted to have an episode where we talk about, you know, Hispanic actors and maybe Hispanic shows and kind of touch on that.
Absolutely. I actually was really excited when you said this because originally you wanted to do like an In the Heights episode, and I was like, Eni.
I still want to do an In the Heights
I'm aware,
episode.
and we're going to. But I need to like take a week and just be like, okay, let's listen to all of the songs, and then text Eni and her tell me everything that's happening because it's like half in Spanish. Yeah,
what does
like
this mean?
I remember. So we're gonna get into this a little bit. I really like In the Heights because to me, I'm gonna get real sappy. Warning. It's really important to our friendship because the first time I ever listened to it, we actually were on Discord for some reason. We both had like the day off or something, and we were both on Discord listening through like the feature that you can listen to Spotify with each other. And you literally, like we were listening to it at the same time and you were explaining it to me the whole time. That was months ago. So do I remember any of it? No. I know there's a lottery ticket and a blackout and fireworks.
Good job.
And al cafe no con leche. That's all I got. Which, by the way, when the first time they made cafe con leche on, cafe con leche on, One Day at a Time, I literally was like, that is the most delicious coffee in the entire world.
I gotta send you some Cuban coffee and teach you how to make it.
It's it's not gonna be the same. It's not gonna be as delicious.
It's not.
But anyway, so that's like it was one of those like moments in our friendship that I can like pinpoint and be like, oh, okay, like that's when we became friends. Like the fact that it's like a 2.5 hour shot, like,
cast album.
Yeah. Like it's long.
Yeah.
Because it's a Lin-Manuel Miranda cast album. I mean, did you guys think we were going to go this long without talking about Lin-Manuel? But
he's literally the first person on my list, so it's
fine. So it was just one of those things where I was like, oh, okay, me and this person can vibe. We're cool. Like we can be best friends.
Aww. Look at you. So sweet. Look at you being the sappy one.
Okay, so what's really funny is I'm usually the sappy one in all of my relationships, but you're so sappy that I just, like, my brain short circuits. Because usually I'm that person.
I don't mean to be sappy.
No, it's great. It makes me feel good, but also my social anxiety kicks in and I'm like, okay, that's a compliment, thanks.
Sorry.
That thing you did is a compliment, and I hear it. And I appreciate it, but it short circuits my brain.
Isn't social anxiety great?
Yeah, it's so great. I love it.
Okay, so we're not going to spend the entire episode talking about In the Heights, but I do want to talk about a couple of Hispanic actors before we get into Lin-Manuel Miranda. And the first one, who I actually already spoke about, is Rita Moreno, who... excuse me. She is, if you have seen One Day at a Time, she is the grandmother in that show. She is Puerto Rican. She was in West Side Story, I want to say. I think she was in
Keep talking, I'll look it up.
Yeah, so she has a Tony.
She was also in Jane the Virgin. Oh my goodness, she was in West Side Story in 1960. Oh, she was in the movie.
Yeah, she was in the movie.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah, she was in the movie. Sorry, she was in the movie West Side Story. Was she in Jane the Virgin?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she plays her dad's mom, like her grandmother from her dad's side. I forgot what I was saying. Oh, she has a Tony. She has a Tony for being in The Ritz, which is a play. From like the 70s, I want to say like 75, 76. And yeah, I remember my grandmother talking to me about her and like telling me like how amazing it was that she was like a Hispanic woman that was like known in this culture that is mainly white people.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of the first names that stuck with me as a kid. And I remember when One Day at a Time came out, I was like, oh my God, that's Rita Moreno. Like, I have to watch the show. Yeah. And so Netflix canceled One Day at a Time after 3 seasons, claiming that, well, not claiming, because the 3rd season didn't do as well as the first 2. Yeah. but Netflix also didn't like promote it.
Right.
Like,
I mean, I didn't know anything about this show.
Exactly. I remember them like promoting the first 2 seasons. And as someone who had watched the first 2 seasons, like binged them as like the day that they came out kind of thing, I didn't even know that the third season came out for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Weird.
I know. Like, it didn't even come up on my, like, oh, you should watch this or whatever, as Netflix usually does.
Or, like, continue watching or whatever.
Exactly. Like, it did not come out. So that was a huge, like, thing. Like, a bunch of people were complaining about it because I know, especially down here in Miami, like, everybody has seen One Day at a Time.
Yeah.
And One Day at a Time, for those that don't know, is honestly just, like, a comedy show about a Cuban-American family. And
it was like a single mom who's also a nurse.
Yes.
Just like your mom.
She is a nurse. And so it's a single mom. She has 2 kids and she's living, she has her mom that's living with her who's Rita Moreno and very Cuban and very amazing and awesome. And I love that show so much. So Netflix canceled it, and then Lin-Manuel Miranda was like, not on my watch.
Yeah.
So it got picked up for a 4th season on some other network that I have no idea what network it is. I'll figure it out once it comes out. But yeah, I'm super glad that it's coming back. And but it wasn't just Lin. Like, I remember like Gina Rodriguez from Jane the Virgin, and I remember like a bunch of the Latin American community kind of just coming together. Like, Netflix, what the heck?
Yeah, and Lin has that history of
he did that for Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Right, which has a big, I think 2 of the actors are Hispanic, 2 of the female actors, and so he is like a big, I mean, his show, Hamilton, literally is all about this, but he's a big supporter of shows that just like are putting Hispanic actors in roles that they would have never gotten, even 5 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's so awesome.
He really, really, really is. So kind of still on the old school track, I guess. Hold on, I still
want to talk about her.
Oh, okay,
because as someone who is white and has, besides you, like, no Hispanic friends at all, like, you were a big introduction to me to the Hispanic community. I love One Day at a Time because it's still like, I think it does it in such a great way that it's still accessible to people who aren't in that community. Like, all of the things that they do and stuff, they, explain like why it's important to the culture, and like, it's very informative to me as someone who didn't grow up with people like that around me. And so I really like how like influential it is in that way. Like, it isn't trying to like be that way. It's not like trying to, I hate to say the saying, but like force it down people's throats. It's more just like, hey, this is a family. They happen to be Cuban. This is their lives. And I think that we need more shows like that about like tons of different cultures. And I think One Day at a Time does that in a like perfect way. So I love One Day at a Time, and I'm only 4 episodes in.
Oh my God, no. And the second season and like gets so much better. No. I can't wait for you to get to the, oh my God, you're going to love it. I can't wait for you to finish watching it.
No spoilers. You promised.
I said no spoilers. I have given no spoilers. So we talked about Rita Moreno being, have been in, she was, oh my God, she was in West Side Story, the movie. Yeah. She played Anita and actually got the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for that role.
Oh, she's so cool.
And the Golden Globe and et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, she's amazing.
Powerhouse.
Like, amazing. Yeah, we were a big West Side Story family in my house. So that movie was played a bunch of times in my house.
I've seen it a couple times, and now that you say that, like, I obviously can see her as Anita. Like, I would have never pinpointed that, but now that I'm, like, picturing the movie in my head, I can definitely, like, see her.
Yeah, because she has that, like, feisty, like, kind of attitude about her.
She's so sassy.
Yes.
Whereas, like, Maria really isn't.
No, not at all.
So.
Okay, so kind of still going off, and actually, I guess to continue on the role of Anita, the original Anita, Chira Rivera, is also Puerto Rican, I think. Hold on, let me double check that. Yes, okay. She is Puerto Rican. She's actually half Puerto Rican. Her mother was Scottish and Italian. She was
what a mix.
I know, she was the original Anita on the original stage production of West Side Story.
So she's awesome.
Yes. She's also let me make sure I get this right.
Okay. I'm ready.
She is the first Hispanic woman and first Latino American to receive the Kennedy Center honors. And she's also been awarded a Presidential Medal of Freedom.
So she's awesome.
Yes. Hispanic women in general are pretty great.
I agree. I mean, my best friend's one, so.
Well, you know. And like, I don't really have much to say about her, just that I've listened to the original West Side Story cast album like a bajillion times, and like when I think of Anita, that's the voice that I think of.
Oh, me too. I actually own it on vinyl.
Ooh.
I know. I don't know how, but it's in my collection. I don't know where it came from, but it's like really old.
But she's the voice that I hear whenever I hear Anita.
America is actually my favorite song from that show, so.
Absolutely. I guess we can switch over to men.
I guess.
I mean, I have a couple of other women that I want to talk about, but...
I mean, listen, this is like a class for me.
Okay. So
give me more information.
We'll stick to the role of Anita.
Okay.
Because in the revival of West Side Story, Karen Olivo played Anita. And besides playing Anita, she has also been in The Heights. She was the original Vanessa in The Heights. She's obviously Satine right now in Moulin Rouge. Right. I'm pretty sure she's been in Wicked. I feel like that's right. Maybe not. I feel like everyone's been in Wicked.
I feel like how many times do we say that?
I know. Actually, I don't see her in Wicked, so I retract that statement. She's played Angelica Schuyler in Hamilton. And I love her. I love her. Yeah. I love her voice. I love her presence. I love her online presence. I love just everything about her. She's Dominican, Puerto Rican Dominican? Yeah, Puerto Rican Dominican. All of the Islanders.
That's so awesome.
Did you know who she was, like, before Moulin Rouge?
I've definitely heard the name before, but I don't think that I was, like, extremely familiar with her, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that definitely makes sense. I remember when they announced her for Moulin Rouge, I, like, freaked out. Because, like, obviously, the only Moulin Rouge that I think of is the movie. Right. And Nicole Kidman is probably the farthest from a Hispanic woman that I could picture. Right. And so to hear her being cast as Satine and hear her, like, being cast in this huge thing that everyone's super excited for, like, I was very, very excited.
I love when things are redone to bring people who have never played these roles before together. Like, I mean, we're going to keep talking about it, but like Hamilton, how Lynn took all of these people of color to play our founding fathers who were not even close to people of color. I mean, Alexander Hamilton technically was an immigrant, but like very, very, very white. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's so interesting when now that we're giving like the spotlight to people that, you know, aren't white. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Like, anyone that hasn't had the chance to do it before because of racism.
No, I get that. No, and like Broadway for a very, very long time was a very all white cast. Yeah. So to see, you know, Hispanics, to see people of color, to see like everyone, just it becoming this inclusive community and inclusive, you know, genre. It's so exciting to watch.
Yeah, and I always say when because I teach musical theater, like sometimes I'll talk to my kids about like what our dream roles are. And a lot of mine, especially when it comes to Hamilton, I always say like that I want to play Washington. Like that is my dream role. I don't know why. It's just one of those things that has stuck in my head. And I always say to them, but I can't and shouldn't play Hamilton, shouldn't play Washington, because that show is supposed to be celebrating, you know, people that don't look like our founding fathers, that don't look like George Washington. Yeah. So while I think it would be cool to have a woman Washington. I think it would be better to put someone of color in that position. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
because there's always going to be roles for me. That's the way I look at it. There's always going to be roles for me. So I need to use my voice to help make roles for other people.
I like that.
Yeah. That's how I feel.
Well, as a Hispanic, I appreciate that because not everybody thinks like that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, let's talk about happy things.
Okay, well, I kind of want to switch to an actual, like, just a full show.
Okay.
And not to talk about In the Heights, because we're not going to talk about In the Heights and Lynn yet. I kind of probably want to save him for last. So back in 2015, Gloria Estefan came out with On Your Feet.
Yeah.
So as a Miami native, as someone whose mom, like my mom went to school with the Estefans, and like,
wow,
like, so to see a little piece of like my actual culture and my actual life like get put on a Broadway stage was like insane to me, like complete insanity, because you never, you know, all of the shows, like, oh, they take place in New York, or they take place, you know, it's in a little town in wherever, but it's like, it's never, you know, from Miami or anything like that. So I like to see the entire process, because like it was a huge deal down here when that number one debuted on Broadway, and then when the tour cast, like the first stop was in Miami.
That's amazing.
So it was a huge deal. Yeah. And to be honest, I've listened to the cast album, I've seen the show. It's not my thing, and it probably wouldn't be your thing because it's a very jukebox musical show. But regardless, I was just excited for something like that to come out, if that makes sense.
Oh, no, it definitely does. And even if it's, you know, not your kind of show, it still is representing your community. So it's still a big deal. Like, I get it. That's awesome.
Exactly. And then that leads me into In the Heights. I'm sorry.
Do not apologize. I love In the Heights. And by that, I mean, I know 2 songs from it. In
the Heights was the first show that I saw.
You're going to make me cry.
Outside of West Side Story. Where I still remember I went to go see it with my dad at the Coral Gables Playhouse. And we sat there, and it was so funny because we were sitting behind like 2, I'm assuming season ticket holders that didn't know what they were getting themselves into. So when it goes into Spanglish and like the jokes that are just said and like all of that, if you're not, I don't want to say you won't get it, but it hits you in a different way if you are Hispanic, if you understand the jokes than if you don't, obviously. So my dad and I were cracking up. Yeah. And like the people in front of us had no idea what was going on. Like none whatsoever. And it was the first show that I was just like, oh my God, this is exactly right. Like this isn't a white person trying to depict Hispanic people. Yeah. And from that second, like, I have been absolutely madly head over heels in love with Lin-Manuel Miranda. And, I mean, everybody who knows me knows this. This is not a surprise. But no. In the Heights is such a celebration of Hispanic culture. You know, there's a scene in the show where they're literally having what they call carnival en el barrio. Like, they're literally having a party in the streets because the power has gone out. Yeah. And it's literally everyone just celebrating where they're from, where their family's from, what their culture is. And it's so good. I love it. That literally makes me so happy I'm crying. Don't cry. Why are you crying?
Because I don't know. I think that was his point in creating that show.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, that was his point. And that's one of the reasons why I adore that guy so much, like, and why I have so much respect for him, and why, like, he is the love of my life. And it's because he's so passionate about his culture and his family, and bringing that and making it mainstream and making it okay, and making it, you know, like, oh yeah, absolutely, you know, we're gonna cast a person of color to play Aaron Burr. Or, yeah. You know, like...
a literal immigrant
Yeah.
To play Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just...
Or, no, I think a son of an immigrant.
Yeah, he's a son. He was born here. I think he was born here.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he's American. Yeah.
But that song, you're going to tell me which song it's from, but when they say immigrants, we get the job done, from the Tony performance, I literally sobbed.
I think that's just Guns and Ships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that whole show talks about how this country literally was, like, Hamilton literally is an immigrant. Like, and that's what the whole country is built on. I'm literally crying. I can't even, why are we, what is this? Do you have enhanced that all over again? Jimmy Crickets.
I'm sorry. And to kind of touch on that. Yeah. So, I don't know how familiar you are with the Hamilton mixtape.
A little bit.
Okay, so he actually has a song on there that samples that line, and it's called Immigrants, We Get the Job Done.
Yeah.
And then, like, every rapper that he has on that song is an immigrant, is someone from somewhere else. So you have Kanan, who's from Somalia, Presidente, which I think he is Dominican, I want to say. Like, and, like, if you listen to the lyrics of that song, like, oh my God, it's so good. And it's literally just the struggle of being an immigrant in Miami, in the United States. And as someone who was actually born here, like, I can't really, like, speak to that struggle because I was, I was born here. I was born in Miami. Yeah. But I mean, my dad wasn't, and my grandparents weren't, and they have, trust me, there have been plenty nights where we've sat and they've told me like their stories on when they came here and how they weren't allowed to bring anything. And we're not going to go into this now because I'm going to start crying, and we can't have both of us crying because this isn't the Dear Evan Hansen episode again.
My best friend Megan, we've been best friends our entire lives. Our moms are best friends. I'm going to cry. And her sister-in-law, Yolanda, is an immigrant from the Dominican Republic. Mm-hmm. And listening to her talk about going through the process, because she finally, I think it was after like 14 years or something crazy, she became a citizen. Mm-hmm. We don't talk about politics on here, but it was for political reasons. Yeah. And listening to her talk about how much it, like, means to her to be a citizen is, like, literally makes me like this.
No, I get it. Trust me. And listen, like, my nephew's mom wasn't born here. She was born in Cuba. Yeah. And went through that whole process while she was in school. You know, I have another friend is also, was born in Cuba and has only been a citizen, I think, for like 4 or 5 years now. Uh-huh. And, like, trust me, I understand that whole process and the whole, like, just, I'm not gonna cry. The struggle to, get through that. And it's funny that I mentioned those two because both my nephew's mom and my friend are both, like, very fair-skinned with freckles and red hair. So when you look at them and you talk to them, you wouldn't think that they were immigrants. Right. Especially Hispanic immigrants. But they are. And like, I know that my friend especially had issues, getting work. Yeah. Because she wasn't a citizen. And it wasn't that she wasn't here illegally or anything. She was a resident, and the whole thing. She just hadn't gone through the process to become a citizen. It's a whole big thing. We're not going to talk politics on this podcast. And I'm going to stop crying now.
I was going to say, because politics is something we both feel so strongly about that, like...
I know.
It's so hard not to. But we won't... We'll put this caveat. We won't say anything negative politically.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I can deal with that.
Yeah, because, we try to be, incredibly positive on here, except for when it's about cats. The musical, not the animals. I love animals. See, broke the tension. There we go.
Yeah, there it is.
So we'll only, I think that's a promise both of you and I can, make, that Absolutely. We'll only speak, positive politically.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know that we have some really great and not so great, immigration programs in our country. Yes. I know that, the Dreamer program has been, really incredible for some people. And, I think that no matter how our country is right now, I think that we are moving forward.
I agree.
But, it's just going to take a little bit to get there.
No, absolutely.
All right, let's talk about musical theater.
Okay.
Let me take a sip of water so I don't die.
Okay, that's fine. Let's talk about Anthony Ramos.
Okay, we can talk about him. I love him.
Okay, so Anthony Ramos, or who I like to call Lynn Jr.
Yeah.
He is American. He was born here. He is of Puerto Rican descent. He grew up in New York. He originated John Lawrence in Hamilton.
And Philip.
Oh yeah, and Philip Hamilton.
Yeah.
But he's been with Lynn since like day one.
Yeah, was he in the
21 Chum Street?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he was in 21 Chum Street. He was in the Heights. I don't think the on Broadway. I think he toured it as Sonny. And then he played Usnavi in the Kennedy Center Performing Arts thing last year, I want to say.
And he's going to be in the movie.
And he's going to be Usnavi in the movie.
Yeah.
I love him.
He's so funny.
He recently came out with some like solo music, and I've been like obsessed with it. It's very like emotional and raw, and it's one of those things that I just listen to whenever I want to cry. He's great. And he's just another one of these Hispanic American actors that I'm just like completely obsessed about.
Yeah, and his, like, I follow him on all the social medias, but he's just he's another, like, such a positive person.
Yeah.
That, like...
And he's another one, like, he's pushing a lot for, like, arts and for arts programs, especially, like, in inner cities and stuff like that, and I love him so much. Yeah,
I think that he's really influential right now in the musical theater community, and I think that he's using his voice to, you know, promote the things that he's passionate about.
Which is great.
Also, his fiancée is adorable, and I love her.
Jasmine Cephas Jones. She's awesome.
Yeah, love her.
Mariah Reynolds. And Peggy. Okay, so, yeah, I have Javier Munoz on here because I like to hear you say Javier Munoz.
Javier Munoz?
Very proud of you.
I did that first take. Y'all, listen, I want you to think about every time you've ever heard me say his name. Please know that there were at least 4 takes before that of me messing up his last name.
Not this time, though. I promise
Not this time. That was literally the first time. I have practiced. Because I just love him so much that all I want to do is talk about him. Like, he not only is such, like, an influential Hispanic actor, but he's such an influential queer actor and is very open about how he's HIV positive. And, like, he's just, like, I don't want to say a ray of sunshine because he's very open about, like, the heartaches of our country and stuff. But I think that he is, pushing himself so much towards, you know, things that need to be changed in a good way. So I really admire and respect him, and he's so great.
This man's theater credits are literally in the Heights and Hamilton.
Javier?
Yes.
That's hilarious. I didn't know that. I really just know him, like, on social media and stuff. Oh, and as Alexander Hamilton, obviously. He was the first one to take over for Lynn, right?
Yeah. He was, also, Usnavi in
I was gonna say, was he Usnavi?
I don't know if he was, I don't know when Lynn stopped being Usnavi. He took over as Usnavi in 2009, and then ended up going on tour as Usnavi in 2010.
That's so awesome.
That's amazing.
So basically, we just love men that have played Alexander Hamilton and Usnavi.
Yeah. And Philip Hamilton. Okay, so... before we talk about Lynn, which I know we've talked about Lynn a lot already, so I don't know how much more I'm going to talk about Lynn. I actually want to talk about a Hispanic American who is not an actor, but is extremely influential and important in the Broadway community.
Okay.
And that is Alex Lacamoire.
Yeah.
Alex Lacamoire is... he was born in California, but he moved to Miami in... like when he was super young.
Yeah.
And he's awesome. And he is like had his hand in probably most of my favorite shows of all time. Hamilton.
Yeah.
Dear
like literally Hansen. Think of any modern musical he's probably done the music for. Like
yeah.
He's so good.
See. Wicked. Legally Blonde. Dear Evan Hansen. Hamilton. I can't read that fast.
He has a lot of hands in, like, a lot of revivals and stuff have have hired him to do the, music direction. Of course, because I'm talking about it.
revival of Annie.
There we go.
Bring it on the musical.
I'm talking about it. What was it?
Bring It On the musical. Which also
is great.
Which is also Lin-Manuel Miranda.
It's because they're BFFs. Lackety-lack.
I know. Lackety-lack. He's amazing.
For a long time, I could never remember his last name. I would just call him Lackety-lack.
I met him.
You did.
And I, had an actual panic attack. And, Christy had to actually introduce me to him. Because...
He's literally like a Broadway legend.
He has a freaking Grammy for The Greatest Showman.
Oh, I forgot he did The Greatest Showman. Listen, him and Pasek and Paul, man.
Has he
BFFs.
Oh, no. He needs an Oscar.
Okay, this is a side tangent that literally has nothing to do with our topic, but can I talk to you for a second?
Okay, but hold on. He's about to EGOT.
Okay, but it's relevant to that.
But he's about to EGOT. He just got an Emmy for the Foss Verdon. Huh?
What does he need?
He needs an Oscar.
Him and Ben Platt, man, neck and neck.
I feel like Lackady Lack might get an Oscar before Ben Platt.
Oh, I think so too. Oscars, what, movies?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised he didn't get one for Greatest Showman.
He got a Grammy for Greatest Showman.
I mean, he has
That's
a
because
bajillion
Greatest
Tonys.
Showman lost to Coco.
Good.
No.
Relevant to what we're talking about.
I mean, yes. Yes. You're not wrong. But This Is Me is like an anthem. Remember Me just makes me cry.
But it also, celebrates Hispanic heritage.
It does. You're absolutely right. I'm not...
Way more than Book of Life. I did not like Book of Life.
I don't remember what Book of Life. Oh, is Book of Life the one with, what's his face?
You got me.
Oh my god. We just watched this movie in Orlando. Step Up.
Oh, Channing Tatum?
That one.
That's so funny that you said that.
Why?
I don't know. Okay. I love Step Up.
That's the one with Channing Tatum and, this other guy that's actually Mexican.
No idea.
And then they're, fighting over a girl.
Maybe.
Isn't that the movie?
I forgot it the second I saw Coco. It's not relevant anymore. I don't like it. I like Coco.
I was right.
You were right. I'm proud of you.
Diego Luna plays the other guy who's actually Mexican.
So wait, Channing Tatum played a Mexican?
Yes! Channing Tatum played Joaquin.
Oh my god. Why did they allow that to happen?
I don't know. Zoe Saldana played Maria, which she's...
That's why Coco's great. All Hispanic actors.
Zoe Saldana's Hispanic.
Okay, but Channing Tatum isn't. He was a main character.
No, you're right. What can I say about Lin-Manuel Miranda that I haven't already said?
I know, in every single one of our episodes. What are we on? I think this is 15.
15?
I think this is our 15th episode. 16th?
16?
I don't know. You edit them.
I don't know. I stopped numbering
The one I edited, I messed up. So... In case y'all were listening, that was the episode that didn't have intro music. Apparently, I just uploaded it without intro music.
How did you do that?
I don't know.
Okay.
And it was an easy edit, too. I don't know what happened. 11,
12, 13, 14. You're right, 15.
Huzzah.
I stopped numbering them, so now I really have no idea what number we're on.
Yeah, that was this is going behind the doors. That is an intense conversation Edie and I had about whether we should number the episodes anymore.
I was so worried. I wasn't sure, if I should have done it, season 1, episode 1. And then, because eventually, since we're going to be doing this till we're, 90, the numbers are going to get obtrusive.
Listen.
I'm listening.
Our Lord and Savior is the McElroys. I love that I'm talking about 3 white men in our Hispanic episode, but our Lord and Savior is the McElroys. Number them, and they're up to 470, which is bananas. I can't even imagine doing that many episodes. And not only that, and that's not even their only show.
I know.
Bananas.
I'm almost done with Dust.
I haven't even listened to that. This is not a relevant conversation.
Okay, sorry.
However,
okay.
They do have a prominently Hispanic character in their first season. Taco and Loop are both Hispanic characters, but...
Isn't Aubrey also Hispanic?
Yes, she is.
Okay.
So look at that. I made it relevant.
I thought that's the one you were going to go with.
Oh, really? I always think of Taco.
You always think of Aubrey.
I know. Aubrey's my love. She is just I just want more people to talk about the Adventure Zone with me. So, people should listen to the Adventure Zone and then DM me about how wonderful Aubrey is. And then you should also DM me how wonderful Magnus is. So, basically, I'm just a Travis McElroy stan. I mean, my hair is purple, so People who don't know who they are like so confused right now.
They're podcasters. They're amazing. We don't need to plug their show because...
No, they make a lot of money.
For real.
They have my dream job.
They just make podcasts for a living?
Yeah, and their dad does too. I mean, I don't want my dad to because I don't think he would enjoy that. But like, yeah, them and their wives. Yeah, well, I mean, Justin's is a doctor, so like... She's way cooler than all of them.
She has that going for her. Oh my god.
How did we get on this tangent? Why does it always come back to the McElroys?
Always. I don't know if I have anything else to say other than I am, as a Hispanic American person, I am extremely excited and really happy to see, like I said earlier, just the inclusion of my culture and like my just representation in the Broadway community. It's amazing. I
agree, and it really like it kind of rounds out. You know, like I can't wait until we don't even have to have like conversations like this. Like I can't wait. I hope I see it in our lifetime, but I can't wait until this isn't a conversation anymore about like inclusion and stuff. I hope it just
is.
Yeah, like I hope that it will continue to go up this ramp and just continue to grow.
Well, I know that we left out 1 million people off this list because there are, well, not 1 million, but we left off a lot of people off this list. Just because time.
Right. I mean, we only talk for an hour.
Time is a thing. And I just kind of wanted to talk about the people who are really important in my life.
Right.
But what about you guys? Like, who are some of the Hispanic actors and playwrights and just people that are in the Broadway community who are important to you? I'm surprised you haven't mentioned George Salazar once in this episode.
It's true. I have not mentioned George Salazar. He is so, yep. Like, I was going to mention him earlier, but then you kept talking because when we were talking about, like, actors playing roles that never got to have this opportunity, you know, there's two little shops going on right now, right? There's one in New York, there's one in Pasadena. The one in New York, I love because I love Jonathan Groff and Christian Borle, which is great. But I think that the one in Pasadena is so much more important.
Absolutely. Because
not only is George Salazar, you know, Hispanic and Filipino, the woman, MJ, that's playing Audrey, is trans. Mm-hmm. She's a trans woman, and a trans woman of color. Mm-hmm. And, you know, Amber Riley is playing Audrey too. So, like, that whole cast in general is just kind of knocking it out of the park in the way that they're choosing to represent these characters, which I literally can't talk about it enough. I want to fly out to Pasadena so bad, but you know, it's fine.
Are they gonna do an album?
I really hope so. Like, I think that it would be incredibly smart if they did. I
saw in like an interview with George Salazar that he was like talking about the show or whatever, like right before it started. Yeah. Like they had film of him or footage of him like singing and in a booth, and I'm just like, why would you do that if not for an album?
Right.
I really hope so. Because unfortunately, I cannot go out to Pasadena and see it, and I'm dying to see it. And I've watched the performance of Suddenly Seymour on the Late Late Show.
Yeah, the James Corden.
The James Corden show. Mm-hmm. Probably 25 times. And it's been out less than a week.
Because what I love about that is that not only is it important for, you know, the Hispanic culture, it's important for the Asian culture, it's important for the queer culture and the trans community, and like all of these things, they're just like, here, have all this representation. Yep. And I'm like, yes, we need more of this. Like, Seymour is supposed to be this small, white, nerdy little boy, and they created this character so new with like George Salazar, who is not a small boy. He's very tall. He's like not white at all. Like, is just this powerhouse and like is just killing it. And I was reading a lot of like reviews and stuff talking about how a lot of people are saying that MJ's portrayal of Audrey is just like so different because of how like vulnerable and intense she is, and like, I think that this show is so important, and I'm so happy. You know, George posted about it on his Instagram. Hi guys, my name's Becca Eddowes. I'm a George Salazar stan. It's fine. But he posted on his Instagram about how important it was to show like one of the biggest Broadway duets in history. Like Suddenly Seymour is one of the most classic duets. Yep. And the fact that it's played by a Hispanic Asian man and a trans Black woman, and they just are singing it together on national television is just...
Yeah, no, that's so important. And I'm so fortunate to live where I live because like I said, I just saw Little Shop. Yeah. And Audrey was a woman of color. Mm-hmm. And Seymour was Hispanic because that's just who Miami people are. Like, that's who you're picking from down here. Right. And so for me, I wasn't surprised at all. Mm-hmm. But, you know, hearing you talk about it and hearing you say that, like, absolutely it's important. Because I forget sometimes that Miami is just, like, not really part of the United States. We're so down here that we're just, like, doing things on our own.
I was going to say, don't you call it North Cuba?
Absolutely, I call it North Cuba. And I'm not the only one who does.
That's hilarious.
So I'm fortunate that I live in this, like, bubble where, like, that's not a huge deal to me. Right. But then I think of, like, where you live and where you're from and where 99.9% of the rest of the United States are living and where they're from. And absolutely, it's such an important thing to happen. And for them to have been able to do that on national television, like, is just amazing.
Like, I just am so excited about all the representation that's happening right now, especially on Broadway. Like,
absolutely.
It's just, like, even going, like, other cultures besides just Hispanic. I remember the night that Will Rowland, for some reason, wasn't on for Be More Chill and Troy Ayada was. Mm-hmm. And at that point, Jeremy, Michael, and Christine were all being played by Asian American actors. And, like, how much of a big deal it was that the three leads in that play, which was a big play on Broadway, were being played by Asian Americans. And so, like, I just, like, it makes me so happy, all this representation, but again, I just can't wait until it's not a conversation anymore.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And then you have, Eva Noblezada, from Hadestown, who is both Hispanic and Filipino as well. Yes.
She, like, because George Salazar was talking about how much he loved her, that is how I found Hadestown, like, originally. And then I was like, Eni, we should do this. And I literally watch all interviews with her and Reeve Carney. But we already did a Hadestown episode.
We did.
But that was before I was like, like, sometimes I want to go back and listen to the episode and be like, oh, honey, before you knew how much you love this show.
Right? Like, yeah. I feel like we did it too soon.
Yeah. Like, I'm glad we did it because we wanted to, like, experiment and, you know, do something kind of going blind. Yeah. But also the things I love about shows is watching all of the interviews and, like, listening to the music nonstop. So, like...
Fair. Yeah. So who did we leave off of this list, guys? Like, who else is a huge influence in your life who's Hispanic or, you know, maybe just, you know, a big person on Broadway or an actor or a playwright, like I said before? Tweet at us or DM us on Instagram. The show is at SincerelyUsPod. You can follow me on Instagram or Twitter at _Eeny That's INYMEENY.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca Eddowes, BECCAEDDOWS. And our art is by the lovely Synergetic Art on Twitter. Go follow her. She's great. We love her. Do you have anything else to add, Eni?
I think I've said everything I needed to say.
Okay, so we're going to leave off with Javier Munoz. There you go. You're welcome. Quote, which is actually one of my favorites. He says, "You might believe you're too young to make a difference, but you underestimate your power. Your voices on social media, your posts and reposts can bring attention and focus to current events. Empower yourself to be heard. Your voices matter more than ever."
Sinceramente, nosotros.